Okay, so we have all of the infantry ready. We just need the cavalry, which are now coming. Let's bring you down here again just to make sure that we are still just looting you and increasing the devastation on the coastline. We have a new technology. That's the military tech. That's what I was waiting for. That's going to increase the strength of my cavalry. We have more cavalry than they do. Venice is forced to give Milan income. Good. So Venice did not lose any territory to the Milanese. So the very fact that we kept Venice in Venetian hands was a really good thing. That's why I kept on going up there to chase out their fleets. And no mission to fleet without DLC. Okay, convince me I buy the DLC. Yeah, fleet missions are kind of important, especially if you want to play the naval game. And there are a lot of nations in this game who are really good to play at sea. So the Knights, if you want a massive challenge. If you want slightly less of a challenge, England. If you want slightly more of a challenge, Holland, Scotland, Aragon, Naples, Florence, Venice, Genoa. Like, there are loads of naval powers in this. The Ottomans, the Mamelukes, Hormuz, Oman, Morocco, Portugal, Castile, Lubeck, Norway, Denmark. Yeah, loads and loads of naval powers. The Venetians keep on getting beaten up. Yes, because they have been at war pretty much constantly for the past, what, 20 years? 30 years? Like, nobody's given them a chance to stabilize. But now I have a navy. Now I have the chance to fight back for them. My navy combined with Venice's navy combined with the Genoan navy. I think we stand a decent chance. Alright, I have 6,000 men. I need a general. That's a decent general. That's better than theirs. We have not trained our army at all, so we're not going to have any bonuses from that. Do we have professionalism? We have a tiny bit of professionalism, but that's not really going to help us very much. Alright, Leroy Jenkins time. Let's launch the naval invasion of Cyprus. Oh wait, I'm a transport short still. Do it anyway. We can always just jump back onto the ships if this fails. So long as we don't lose in the first week. So we're suffering a -3 on the attack. We have more discipline, we have the same morale. And I outnumber them. Oh, we're winning. We're thrashing them, in fact. Why the hell is that? Just more cavalry? Or did I get lucky with the rolls? I got lucky with the rolls. Alright, let the siege begin. Except I need more troops. How many do I need to actually siege this? I need 9,000 men. Alright, let's start building some infantry. And we can cancel that cog. We don't need you anymore. With France, I never developed my fleet. The British are stronger. Yeah, well, the British kind of famously have their navy. Not bad, not aggressive maybe. I love this game, but not enough good. Just practice. And France is a really good nation to learn. Like, whenever someone's saying, hey, what country should I play to learn the game? I will always say France. Because France are great. You're strong enough that a couple of failures won't affect you overly. Like, really good for that. Diplomacy matters for them. And you can really have a big impact with your allies, but you still need allies to kind of counter the other big powers like Castile, England, Austria, the Ottomans. Plus, you can do the colonial game if you want to. So if you want to do some more stuff, you can go colonial into the Americas or Africa or even to the Far East. You really can just do everything in the game, and it's a great way to learn because you have that ability to fail. Just don't fail too often. Because then you will start to lose. But you... what's the word? You have the space. When fighting England, you kind of sneak past their navy. Really move troops across the channel while they're distracted. Yeah. So you saw how I was using 2 navies here to fight against the Mamelukes. I would send one navy in to distract while the other one would kind of come in after. You can do that against England. So send in a small navy of just heavies, intercept the English, and then use the time that you are fighting the English navy to drop troops off in a different province. Just time it carefully and have enough ships that you can distract the English for long enough. How many did I say I needed? 9,000. We're going to keep on training. This is fine. I'll just disband all the infantry after we're done. And thanks to the raiding, we have quite a large treasury to deal with. And plenty of manpower. And we can hire mercenaries if we need to. This is not a problem. Five, 6, 7,000. We need 2 more. Oh, select. There you go. 2 more longbows. Six, 7, 8, 9.7. Yeah, we're good. And the Mamluks are down to medium now. I have contributed more than Venice has. Oh wow, that's hilarious. And Cyprus is on low. Oh, one thing I should do, which I really hope Venice hasn't, and I should have done this ages ago, is say for myself that I want Cyprus. I also want that, I also want that, and I also want that. Otherwise, Venice wouldn't give me this in the peace deal. Because I do not have the ability to do that myself. Saint proclaimed, +1 stability. Fantastic. And we're only 46 points away from getting another one too. We're getting close to being in a position to declare war on the Ottomans too. Like my spy network on the Ottomans is getting high, so we can siege them down quickly. This is another reason I like the Knights. Their units just look so cool. I just noticed they use pole hammers. Does anyone else? No, everyone else is bullhooks and halberds. I'd never noticed that the Knights use pole hammers. Easily one of my favourite medieval weapons, like one of the most effective. I was just thinking actually, like these guys look like the Radiant Cross on Prophecy of Pendor. And they did use halberds too, I think. No, Radiant Cross are crossbows? Maybe it's the militia. I don't remember. It's a while ago. My theologian had died. That's annoying because he was my cheap guy. I think we'll go for the yearly inflation reduction until I don't have any loans. Yeah, we're going to need you. Alright, last set of units coming in. Then the siege can begin in earnest, and at that point I will probably need to move all of my ships here so that we blockade them so we get the blockade bonus. And there we go, the siege has begun. Damn you, Venice! Still, white peace against them. 35 favours. You are sodding welcome. But still, white peace, really, as I was about to take the fricking island. Oh, Venice! I rarely failed, but I don't progress. Almost 30 years to gain one province. It's a slow game. Like, don't be afraid to take your time. Like, one of the biggest mistakes you can make is to expand too quickly. Because then everyone around you will jump on you in a coalition. Alright, so, I am well over my force limit. We are losing money rapidly. If I were to do a little bit of saber rattling here and possibly declare a war against the Ottomans, Genoa would join, Poland would join, France wouldn't because I don't owe them enough favours, Papal States don't care, and Venice is heavily in debt. Okay, so we're not going to do that for a while. I think I'm just going to go ahead and disband all of my infantry. I'm going to keep the cavalry because I want to start them training, so we're just going to have this really strong core of cavalry. So you can start drilling. And that should also save me a bucket load of cash. And then the other thing I'm going to do is just get rid of those ships, and we're just going to build up galleys to be at or just over my force limit. I think we're going to go up to 15. 15 galleys should be pretty good. What did you miss? You missed me getting within months of taking Crete. Like, I was sieging them down, I'd landed, we'd beaten the Mamluk fleet, and then Venice peaced out for a white peace. Very annoying. Naval reformer has died, that's annoying. Diplomatic reputations were a good choice. We'll do that. And I'm going to continue spy networking against you. Yeah, we were so close to getting Cyprus there. It was within our grasp. Like, the Mamelukes were down to medium war enthusiasm. They had no navy left. Yeah, I meant Cyprus. Is there any more raiding I can do? I suspect not, but we may as well check while we are at peace. Now, unfortunately, there is no drilling equivalent for navals. Ships. The word is ships. Ooh, Antonius is a scholar. Cheap attack. That's actually really useful. Who are you allied to? Anzan, Zoran, Shamar, and Gazamuk. Nobody that I particularly care about. So how far am I from getting favours from France? Quite a long way. I gain a favour every 5 years, so that's going to be 35 years before we have the 10 favours that we need. Or we just need to defend France in a war. Or fight with them in a war. So we kind of just need France to declare on somebody. In Italy, preferably. Lose stability. You bastards. I'll take the tech cost, though. Go on, thank you very much for the follow, and also Twitch chat did nothing wrong. Thank you also for the follow, I appreciate that. Welcome to the channel, guys. And I can invest in a new idea. We're ahead of time, so I may as well. Oh, and this is the naval tradition from battles. This is going to be really good for us. And we can finally tech up in Diplo. Which means we are now ahead of time. And we also have the naval morale. And we can build the shipyard. Oh, that's big. That's really big. Let's build that shipyard. +2 naval force limit, which is modified by any modifiers you have, which we don't yet, but we will. We'll have lots of them. Local shipbuilding time, -25%. Local ship repair, +25%. Like, it's a really powerful building. I never like republics the worst. Annex them. Yeah. Okay, so I have a bit of a sordid history with republics in this game. I used to adore them. They were by far my favourite way of playing. But they destroyed them. Like, once they brought out the trade leagues for merchant republics, that completely destroyed the merchant republic interest. Like, they're just so weak now compared to how they used to be. I don't like them at all. Before they had the trade leagues, they were awesome. No limits on how large you wanted to grow them, but it wasn't so much about growing big, it was about growing wide. So rather than just, like, concentrating force in one area, you would, as Venice, grab Crete. You would grab some of the other islands in the Mediterranean. You would grab a spot or two in Africa. You would grab a spot or two in South Africa, all the way over to like Indonesia. And those are trade posts. You would just use them to base your fleet so that you could push as much trade home as possible. But now with the trade leagues, like, you are limited to, what is it, 15 provinces? That's nowhere near enough to do that with. So if you want to do a trade nation, play as Holland, play as Portugal, play as Aragon, play as Denmark, play as Norway. Norway's actually a surprisingly good trade power. And they've just completely ruined trade republics in my mind. And also, the way that the Republican tradition works is massively, I'm not going to say overpowered, underpowered. It's not really underpowered either. But it's really, like, compare that to a monarchy. Monarchies are so much more stable because as soon as you go below, I think it's 80% Republican tradition, then all the bad things start to happen, while it's like 20% for a monarchy. Does Venice start with Crete? Yes. However, in the next expansion for this game, they are modifying how governments work. So instead of governments working as they do here at the moment, where it's, hang on, I can't show you because I'm a theocracy, I can't change anyway. But like, as a monarchy, for example, you start as a feudal monarchy, then you go administrative, then you become absolute, and then constitutional monarchy. Now you can actually pick and mix from a various modifiers what you want your government to actually do. So your government is kind of handled in the same way as ideas are. So as a republic, you can say, I want to be a merchant republic, which gives you that free merchant. Then you can say, actually, I really like the production bonus from administrative republic. So you take that instead of something else. So they're completely changing how governments work. And it's the same thing for monarchies. So you're picking, mixing how your government functions out of a list of different modifiers rather than just saying, okay, I'm an administrative monarchy, therefore I do this. No, do not play as Novgorod. That is a terrible piece of advice. Novgorod is the worst nation in the game. And I know you're trolling Mystery Potato, but that's not even funny. That legitimately hurts me. And in fact, Novgorod is an example of everything wrong with trade republics right now. It's in fricking Russia. You cannot... And also it always dies. Like here, in fact, it does not exist anymore. But you can't limit a Russian nation to 10 provinces or 15 provinces. It's stupid. How the hell are they ever going to go up against Muscovy or the Hordes even? Hell, even Lithuania and Poland, even Denmark can beat you. Sorry, Denmark. Right, so we have loads of devotion at this point. So we don't need to go for the theologian or preacher anymore. We could go for the local noble. We could go for the merchant's son. Annoys the clergy a little bit, and I'd kind of like to keep the clergy sweet. Because we want their modifiers, and in fact we should probably do some of their influence things. Although we currently have a minus, that would be... yeah, it's an annoying negative. Papal protege might be a good one. We get the 10 papal influence, which is what we've been trying to get for that free stability. And nobility and the bourgeois hate us, but that doesn't bother me in the slightest. You, however, are terrible. Unfortunate. Have we built the shipyard already? That was quick. No, we're still building it. Are we, though? No, it's built. So why has my force limit not gone up? Oh, it has. It is now 15. It was 13. Okay. How does one do a colonial Denmark? I would actually recommend, if you have a bit of experience with the game, that you do a colonial Norway instead. Because Norway has some really nice national ideas, which are full of flavour as well. Like, I really like Norway's ideas. They're probably my favourite idea set. And they can really help you with the colonial game too. So, for example, they get plus 25% national sailor modifier, plus 10% ship durability. That's just what they start with. And then their ambition is plus 25% trade steering. So they're really good at having a big, spread out colonial empire. As I was kind of talking about, I used to play in trade republics doing that. They also get, at their first idea, is plus 20% morale of navies. Like, their fleets are ridiculous, and this is where it gets interesting. Can recruit explorers and conquistadors, and plus 33% colonial range. That means you don't need to take exploration ideas. You can play as Norway and colonize without exploration. That's very strong. And then the next idea, plus 1 colonist. So you can be colonizing stuff. You have the explorers and conquistadors to find the provinces without exploration ideas. And then if you take exploration ideas, you get even more colonists. And also the colonial growth stuff. You then get minus 10% ship costs, so you can get those light ships really, really cheaply. Plus 10% global trade power, again bringing the money home. Plus 10 production efficiency, not the strongest for them. Plus 1 yearly prestige and plus 2.5% discipline, nice to have. But yeah, I really like Norway's ideas. I really like them. Norway begins under a personal union of Denmark. Yeah, they do. So it's a bit of a challenge to get out from under them. That's like the early problem that you have to deal with. But you can very often get Sweden to split out, and then Sweden will support your independence. You can get Muscovy to support your independence. You can very often get England or Scotland to support your independence. So it's not impossible to do. It's difficult, but it's not impossible. And like I said, it's not a nation I would suggest to a complete new player. But to someone who has a bit of experience, who wants a bit of a challenge, absolutely. Play as Norway, they're great. Don't own any DLCs, it was annoying to play as Norway. Yes, it would be without Conquest of Paradise, that's true. Actually, does that matter? You still get colonial nations, don't you? Keep meaning to play as Dithmarschen since they have the unique Peasant Republic government, which I find interesting. Do they still exist here? They do. And yes, they do. They have the Peasant Republic, don't they? Which I know nothing about. I've never played as these guys. How can I find out about it? Peasants Republic, plus 10% production efficiency, plus 5% morale of armies. Monthly autonomy down. Maximum absolution massively down. However, they do get Republican mechanics. So you have elections and all that good stuff. And you have the cultural sufferance, and you can get plutocratic ideas. So yeah, Dithmarschen can get one of the highest morales in the game. Because not many governments provide morale of armies. In fact, I don't think any do. Alright, we now have 15 galleys. We have become a power at sea. And don't forget that our galleys fight at 25% increased strength. Alright, we're ahead of time in everything, though just. Do the act of uniformity, which I would like to do. We are going to run out of money at some point, though. So I need to get rid of an advisor. Possibly two. Is it true you can upload your completed Crusader Kings 2 game to E4? Yes, there is an official DLC that lets you do it. Don't remember if it's a paid for or a free one. I think it's a paid for. But the converter is actually really good. I am very impressed with what they've done with the converters. It's worth doing. If you have a Crusader Kings 2 game that you've been enjoying, I recommend doing it. With one modification, I would strongly recommend you, before you convert the game, and this does require a bit of modding, so this is a little bit more advanced, but break up any empires into the constituent kingdoms. So just destroy the empire title. Because otherwise you will have very large countries which are less interesting to play with. If you destroy all of the empires, or at least most of them, like you can leave Byzantium, for example, if you want a strong Byzantium. If you destroy all of the empires, you will have many more countries in the game, and that's just more interesting, because there's more diplomacy and stuff going on. And they'll likely coalesce again anyway into one of the major powers. But yeah, that would be my recommendation. But it's worth doing. And in fact, if you want to see that at work, you can see the Crusader Kings 2 multiplayer. If you go to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/MordredViking, you can find the March of the Vikings game, which starts in Crusader Kings 2, goes into EU4 using that converter, and I kind of talk about how I did the conversion, what changes I made, and I go a bit into the modding of it. And then that goes into EU4, play through that, and then Victoria, and I play through that. So I convert all the way of Crusader Kings 2 to Victoria. What do you mean we're running out of money? Don't you see the shores of the Ottomans and the Mamluks? Those are banks filled with gold. Problem with that is there is a timer to how often you can raid them. And I cannot raid them again for another 2 years. Or effectively 3 years. So I cannot do that yet. So yes, I do need to get rid of one of these guys. I think it's going to be the admin guy. Although we have admin ideas. So it probably should be the Diplo guy. Although we kind of need to keep up in Diplo. No, I'm going to... Diplo Rep is also nice to have, because it means the allies are more likely to actually help you. Alright, so if we cancel that for a moment. If we went after the Ottomans, only the Pope would join us. Can I provoke you? And then I'm going to embargo you as well, because I can. And it will annoy you. 9th of June. There we go. I'm really provoking the Ottomans right now. Yeah, there are no rebels there that would actually do anything. Let me just get to the 11th of July. Because I just wanted to see how likely these guys were. So you are still trying to pay off your debt, and you're going to be doing that for a long time. Genoa is in another war, otherwise would join. France needs the favours, and you are fighting another war. I mean, once you've done that, you would join me. And same with Poland. And Poland has a bunch of other problems, but if you got rid of that, it would be a -36, and you would join. So yeah, it's just time. It's just a matter of time. The Ottomans are going to die because I have very strong allies. So I'm going to get rid of my Diplo Rep guy because I don't need you anymore. I'm still losing money. And that's despite having the subsidies. I could turn my fort off, that's true. In fact, when do new forts become available? Level 14. Might need to get rid of one other person. Because I can't reduce these two because we're drilling. Although I could stop you drilling once you're at maximum, but honestly I would like to have the high professionalism. Ah, damn it, they integrated Cyprus. Oh, Venice. Venice, Venice, Venice.